You've found Wickett on Wisconsin, your one-stop podcast for all things Packers, Brewers, Bucks, and the rest of your favorite teams from all over the state of Wisconsin. We're powered by Wisconsin Sports Heroics, online at wisportsheroics.com and the Wisconsin Podcast Association. And now, here's your host, Mike Wickett.
Well, that pretty much puts an end to the 2022 season for the Green Bay Packers. That's kind of it. So long. Now 3-6 after that 15-9 loss. 15-9. I don't know if that's a scoreagami or not, but 15-9 loss to the now 2-6 Detroit Lions. I have a stream of consciousness that it's taking me a couple hours now since that game ended to be able to put this down onto a podcast. So thank you so much for being here and enjoy. Reminder that the podcast, Wickett on Wisconsin, is brought to you by our friends over at Great Lakes Dragaway in Union Grove, Wisconsin. You know that old phrase, I feel the need for speed came back into the mainstream this summer. Sounds like you. Well, my friends at Great Lakes Dragaway are the fastest quarter mile in the Midwest. They're over there in Union Grove, Wisconsin. So if you're looking for great family entertainment, go to Great Lakes Dragaway, online greatlakesdragaway.com. Now, here's the thing. Snow is starting to fly. The days at the track up until maybe when it gets warmer are going to be limited. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take care of, say, the race fan on your list. Because as soon as we get through this winter, and Lord knows it's already here for lots of the parts of the state of Wisconsin, as soon as it gets warm, people are going to want to get back out on the track. So buy them a gift card. They have them right now for you, greatlakesdragaway.com. They'll come back in the spring with bike nights, hot rod nights, truck nights, nitrous nights, and that gearhead on your Christmas list would love a gift card from Great Lakes Dragaway. Online, greatlakesdragaway.com, greatlakesdragaway.com. Thank you to those guys for being a part of the podcast and sponsoring it. I definitely appreciate it. 15-9, Packers lose, and the season's over. And I don't think it's being overly dramatic. I don't. You can only have so many get-right games before you just can't get right. You know, they lost to the Giants in London. Get-right game, Jets. Nope. Get-right game, Commanders. Nope. You didn't think the Bills were going to be a get-right game. Lions, get-right game? Nope. Is there another loss in there? I've already lost track. That's how bad this has been. You know, you squeak by. Let's just run through this. You got beat by Justin Jefferson week 1, and you're like, well, we'll figure some stuff out. You beat the Bears, so what? You went down to Tampa and beat Brady. Not the most exciting game, but 14-12 came down to the end. You squeaked by Bailey Zappi. And then you lose to the Giants in London. Get-right game. Jets at home, no. Get-right game. Commanders, no. You knew the Bills weren't going to be a get-right game. Actually, I didn't do a podcast last week. I had some family stuff come up. But I came out of that game against the Bills actually feeling pretty good. You know, I think in the second half they outplayed Buffalo. They definitely did well on the ground. Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers remembered that Aaron Jones was on this roster. They didn't get intimidated being, a huge underdog. I know they only scored 17 points, but they weren't intimidated by being this huge underdog at Buffalo, everybody's favorite to win the Super Bowl, and rightfully so, everybody's favorite to win the Super Bowl. And then it was like, well, this is the ultimate get-right game. If the offense under the offensive genius, Matt LaFleur, if the offense under Matt LaFleur, with the Hall of Fame two-time defending MVP quarterback, if the offense can't get right going to Detroit, then there really is no getting right. And after what we saw in that game, there's no getting right. The season's over for the Packers. They're going to play out the string. They're hopefully will get some improvement out of some of these younger dudes. I don't know, though, because their two young wide receivers both left the game with more injury today. Like, there's no getting right anymore. The season is done. They're 3-6. Minnesota won again. They are 7-1, far exceeding everybody's expectations, especially under a new head coach in his first year. I mean, you look at the standings, they're so far to the wild card race, it's ridiculous. Well, Wickett, 9 games, they got 8 to play. You think they're going to win 7 of those? They have to win 3 in a row just to get back to being 500. You think they're going to beat Cowboys, Titans, and Eagles? No, the season's over. There's no getting right anymore. You had your opportunities to get right. You blew every opportunity to get right. There's no getting right. The season's done. It's all about 2023 and the offseason of Aaron Rodgers again. And can you kick the can down the road? Is anybody going to take on that salary? What about being in salary cap hell? Yeah, the season's over. There's no getting right. The plan failed, and I've talked about that on previous podcasts. The plan failed. The plan with the young receivers and Sammy Watkins failed. The plan to trade Devontae Adams has actually failed for both teams. The Raiders and Packers are a combined 5-12. That's not good. There's no getting right. This is the bed that they laid. Now they got to lay in it. This is the bed they made. Now they have to lay in it. That's what the phrase is, right? As far as today's game goes, season was on the line. Forget about getting right for a game. The season was on the line. Not that 4-5 feels good, but 4-5 feels a lot better than 3-6. 4-5, you can still see somewhat of a path to a wild card game. You get a little momentum. You got Dallas coming in next week. No, season was on the line. And you put up 9 points on literally the worst NFL defense in the last half decade and one of the worst all time. Season was on the line, and you failed. I don't know that's on everybody. That's on the guy who went shopping for the groceries and Brian Gutekunst. That's on the coach who made the recipe. That's on the meal with the players on the field. This is the Lions. It wasn't like they had to go to Philadelphia. That's coming. It's not like they had to go to Philadelphia and win to save the season. You had to go to the Lions. You absolutely failed. And I didn't even feel all that worried after the first drive when Detroit went all the way down the field. And, we've seen first drives for the Packers defense under Joe Barry routinely struggle. That's been a kind of a staple. But they bent and didn't break, and maybe the best play call of Joe Barry's entire tenure as the defensive coordinator for the Packers. He brought 6 on that 4th down from the 3-yard line or whatever it was, the 5-yard line. Goff threw an incomplete pass. I thought, great, perfect. Time to march down the field. And they did. They went down the field. Throw. Eventually got down into the Lions' red zone. What happened? You know what happened. Aaron Rodgers doinked one off of defender's head. Ball goes up in the air. Packers squander a red zone chance. Inside the 5-yard line chance. I still think it is criminal. Is that the right word? Criminal? For the lack of use of Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, and I don't know who to blame. I don't know if that's the quarterback or it's the coach, or it's the coach not having control of the quarterback. I've talked about that at length on a podcast before. But who's in charge of this team? I'll ask it again. Who is in charge of this team? Is it the quarterback or is it the head coach? Because if it's the head coach making these play calls, saying, Aaron, go out there, and I know they give Aaron 2 plays, and every single week we hear Matt LaFleur tell us, I got to get the ball, make sure that Aaron Jones gets his carries, gets his touches. Aaron Jones is so talented. We have to make sure Aaron Jones gets the ball. That's on me. Do it. Do it. And if it's on 12, then you need to take control of him and say, look, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are one of the best backfields in the National Football League. And they never get the ball. They never get the ball. Your leading rusher today was Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron Jones got hurt. I'll talk about that coming up in a bit. Aaron Jones had 9 carries for 25 yards. Not a great average, but I'm still going to feed that guy as much as I can. 2 catches for 20 yards, so 11 for 45. 11 touches, 45 yards before the injury. And he was seen in a boot. A.J. Dillon, he had 11 carries for 34 yards, 2 more catches for 10, so 13 for 45. But no, Aaron, It's criminal, the hero ball that we keep seeing. Aaron has to run around and make plays, and I love that he made plays with his legs today. It wasn't there. He took off. I complained a lot this year. Where are Aaron's legs? What happened to that factor? That was a bullet in the chamber, a piece of the arsenal that made Aaron Rodgers so great. But what they do or don't do with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon is criminal. When they act, there was one play today, it was 3rd and 1, slammed the ball into the belly of A.J. Dillon, and he picked up the yard. Holy Toledo. I thought, great. They figured it out. But that first trip to the 5, doink. And then they ran Aaron Jones on 3rd down. The next time they were inside the 5. And they got stopped. And so you know what happened? You do what anybody would do. You have a talented backfield. You got the 2-time MVP. You call it tackle eligible. All right, you've been working on that for a while in practice. You want to try something, catch him off guard. That's fine, except Aaron Rodgers threw one of the worst passes I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers throw. Aiden Hutchinson picked it off. Like, it's I don't know who the smartest guy in the room is. I don't know if it's Aaron Rodgers or if it's Brian Gutekunst or if it's Matt LaFleur, because we always used to think that Ted Thompson tried to be the smartest guy in the room. But sometimes football can be easy. Football can be a simple game. Run the ball into the end zone. Run the ball get the ball to your best players. Your best players move the football. You get in the end zone, you score. It is criminal that they underutilize their best playmaker on offense. You don't trust Romeo Doubs? Run the ball. You don't trust Christian Watson? Can't stay on the field? Run the ball. Sammy Watkins? Can't stay on the field? Run the ball. Your offensive line struggling to pass protect early in the year? You've got 6 different starting offensive lines this year? Run the ball. What are we doing? What are we watching? It is ridiculous. As a Packers fan, you have to be frustrated with this because, you know, I was talking to a neighbor of mine today. I was out after the game, raking leaves, blowing off steam, final leaf pile of the day. And I got a Bears fan that lives directly behind me. And he comes up, and he just starts laughing at me. And I said, yeah, Bears lost too. He said, yeah, but I'm happy with my team and their bad record because they've got a ton of cap space, and they've got Justin Fields finally starting to look like a real quarterback. And I looked at him, and I said, Mark, now I know what it's like to be a Bears fan. Because here we are, beginning of November, I know the direction of my franchise quarterback. I know the direction of my team. There's no miracle run coming. And I got to start thinking about the draft. Now I know what it's like to be a Bears fan. And he just laughed. He said, yeah. He said, this is what it was like in the 70s and the 80s when you're watching from the other sideline. I mean, how do I go back to this. How do you go to Detroit with the season on the line and you put up 9 points? I have absolutely no idea how that's possible. No idea how that's possible. I got more for you coming up, but shout out to our other sponsor, NP Connect, nickpackard.com. Go there today if your marketing agency is underperforming, or if you don't even have a marketing agency or a marketing person to help your small business, the backbone of this country, the small business. If you're looking to bring some experience from the digital marketing world, you want to get a strategy that'll help you elevate, get you seen, make you some more money, you should hire a fractional chief marketing officer like my guy Nick Packard. He's right there in Franklin, Wisconsin. As a fractional CMO, he's going to deliver and execute all your business marketing needs. Go online today, nickpackard.com. They can build a website. They can design your logo. They can maybe use organic, social, and paid ad strategies to help you get seen through your SEO. And you're like, Wickett, what's an SEO? SEO is search engine optimization. Basically, it's when you hit that Google button, ask Siri or ask Alexa about a business or whatever, when does yours come up? If you come up on the second page or the third page, your SEO isn't very good. That's where Nick can come in and help you. And the best part is he's fractional. You only pay for the time that you need. He's got all kinds of different rates to fit every budget. So if you're a small business or a medium-sized business and you want to up your digital marketing game, Get a hold of my guy, Nick Packard, online, nickpackard.com. And just for listening, you get a free digital ecosystem assessment. That means an outsider's perspective on your website, your social channels, your email marketing. You can sign up directly online, NP Connect, nickpackard.com. That's nickpackard.com. And please tell him Wickett sent you. So now what do you do about Aaron Rodgers? I mean, you signed him to this 3-year, $150 million contract. People are throwing out, though, $50 million a year. Well, 28 against the cap this year, but still. What do you do with Aaron Rodgers? You know, I said on the last podcast, I said, bench him for 3 games, because if there's any shot that the thumb is the reason the Packers' passing game is just off, because it was just off today, the doink on the head, the deep pass to Samori Toure, they got deflected right at the end zone. I mean, that 3 more yards, and that's a touchdown. Late in the game when they're trying to get down the field and go for the game-winning score, that one hopper to Samori Toure, who ran like 40 yards up and 40 yards over, and Aaron was mad at Toure. No, Aaron, that's on you. Like, Aaron has to play better. I've said it over and over again. You can blame LaFleur, you can blame Gutekunst, that's fine, but players have to play better, including the 2-time, now 4-time, but 2-time defending MVP. He has to play better. He can't be a tick off. Not against Detroit when you need it to save your season. He has to play better. And now does it matter? I mean, if they win 3 in a row, they get to 6-6. Who knows what happens with the rest of these games, the rest of the NFC? I mean, I don't think there's a shot they make the playoffs. Even if they do get to the playoffs, so what? What's going to happen? They get that second wild card, and they would play. Who would they play right now? I don't even know who they would play. Minnesota, right? Because Philly would be the 1, so then Minnesota would be the 2, I believe, right now, and they would play the 7. And is that what you want? You want a playoff game against Minnesota? Maybe that'd be fun at their stadium. Was that TCF Bank or U.S. Bank Stadium, whatever it is, a bank stadium somewhere in there. I mean, I know people are calling for Jordan Love, and I'm a fan of Jordan Love, but Matt LaFleur already shot that down. They're going to keep on fighting. They're going to keep on trying to win football games. They don't look close enough at all to go on any kind of run. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you shut Rodgers down for the year, but if they would have sat Rodgers for, say, 3 games, and if that thumb really is the problem, and I don't know, does Love win a game? I don't know. Does he win this game? And then if Rodgers' thumb is healthy, which it's not right now, you saw it, can they possibly go on? There's a better shot they go on a win streak with healthy Rodgers for 3 games than there is with, 75% Rodgers. It is something that I don't think any Packers fan saw this coming. You may not have thought they were going to be 8-1 after 9 games, and that's fine. I thought after the first month things would really start to click. And I thought after that 4th game, they did. They were 3-1. Things were looking good. The get fat part of the schedule was coming up. Giants, Jets, Commanders. And now they're in the middle of the tough part of the schedule. Apparently going to Detroit's just as tough as going to Buffalo. Who knew? I know that the whipping boy for a lot of this season has been Joe Barry, but Joe Barry's defense gave up 254 total yards. I mean, Joe Barry's defense played just fine. The special teams wasn't a complete and utter disaster. That's always a win for the Packers. But the offense, the offensive genius, Matt LaFleur. I mean, do we take the genius title off of his business card now? The MVP. Done through 3 interceptions today. He's got 7 so far this year. I mean, I know that people are all mad about Goot and mad about Joe Barry or whatever. This is on the offense. And the 2 guys most responsible for this offense are the coach and the quarterback. And Adam Stenavich, I mean, I don't know what Adam Stenavich is doing, but how much do they actually really miss Nathaniel Hackett and Luke Getsy? More and more by the day, it would seem. Because this offense isn't right. Doesn't look good. Usually there's signs you're like, this is getting better. And there was a time in that first month, I'm telling you, there was a time in that first month when Rodgers was running The LaFleur offense, this was before the whole we need to slow things down, we need to simplify things. There were a couple of drives in a couple of those games where it was like, this is a thing of beauty. And it's gone. Like, it's absolutely gone, and I don't know where it went. The maestro is not conducting the orchestra. Nobody's where they're supposed to be. Now you got injuries all over. I mean, Aaron Jones left in a boot today. Romeo Doubs left in a boot today. Christian Watson probably should be shut down for the rest of the year. I do a local radio show here, and I was screaming that they should have shut Tua Tagovailoa down for at least a month, if not more, because he had 2 concussions in 4 days. I know Tua and the Dolphins rolled again today, put up a lot of points. But Christian Watson, 2 concussions in a week. Give the young man an extended relief, a month, 6 weeks, the year. Let that get right. Let him bulk up. Figure out why his hamstrings have popped a couple of times here in the last 6 months, and figure it out. Stokes had an injury today. David Bakhtiari left and came back. I mean, this team just got decimated by injury real quick. Rashawn Gary left. They already lost Devondre Campbell. But I can make excuses about why these guys are getting hurt or how this team is so injured. Nobody wants to hear that. There's no excuse for this team to go to Detroit and lose. Not this year, not with that Lions team, not with that Lions defense. There's no reason for it. So now the season's over. That's it. There's no get right. There's no, and there was nobody at the trade deadline that was going to fix this. I mean, we heard this morning DJ Moore from the Panthers. The Packers offered, a first-round pick for DJ Moore. They offered the second for Chase Claypool. The Steelers took the Bears' second-round pick because it was going to be better than the Packers. We'll see. I mean, I know people like to make jokes about Goot trying. The fact that they lost to the Lions tells me that they were not one player away from going on a run, all right? So maybe keeping that second-round pick and whatever else they were trying to use to get guys. I mean, you think if they sign OBJ this week, is that going to change everything? I don't know. They may have lost Romeo Doubs for a while, Christian Watson for a while. I mean, they're going to go to battle against the Dallas Cowboys, coming off a bye, with Sammy Watkins as their number 1 wide receiver. Sammy and Toure. Sammy and Samari. There's your top 2 wide. Winfrey will see some run if he's healthy. I mean, that's where we're at right now. Between injury, inconsistency, and bad play. I mean, it's Buck season. Thank God, as I'm recording this, they're undefeated, right? All right. Thank you for checking out the podcast. I appreciate it. I did want to mention this, of course, from Aaron Rodgers. He admitted he played very, very poorly. He said bad words. But don't forget, guys who are making too many mistakes shouldn't be playing. Got to start cutting some reps. Maybe guys who aren't playing, maybe give them a chance. You think Rodgers is talking about himself? No, that was from the Pat McAfee show, the one that I tweeted to McAfee about it. He put me on the show. Put my tweet on the show. Unless Rodgers all of a sudden comes down with a thumb injury and they shut him down to go on IR. No, not happening. Hey, thanks for checking out the podcast. Appreciate it. I don't know where we go from here, Packers fans. There will be more Packers content coming on the podcast, but there will also be some Bucks content coming too, because you deserve it. You've asked for it, and I will give that to you, as this team is now 9-0 and just actually won without Giannis, and they've been playing without Chris. So that's scary for the rest of the NBA. I appreciate it. Thanks again to Great Lakes Dragaway, also Nick Packard, NP Connect. We appreciate their support and yours. So you can download the podcast, rate, like, subscribe, tell a Packers fan about the podcast, WisconsinSportsHeroics.com, WISportsHeroics.com. All right. I don't know. I'm not good at closing this out when I'm in a bad mood. So, thanks. As always, go Pack, go Bucks, and go Brewers.